Hello, I'm Ruth Lapton and I'm an honorary professor at the University of Manchester.
Hello, and I'm Deb Hayes, and I'm a Professor of Education and Equity at the University of Sydney. Ruth and I wrote Great Mistakes in Education Policy because we think there's a growing consensus in education in both our countries, England and Australia, that the big directions that policy has taken in the last 30 years or more have not made education better and fairer. They've left our education systems unable to fully meet the challenges of high and growing inequalities. But at the same time, policy debate has become very oppositional and polarised, and there's so much educational research of so many different kinds that it can be difficult to see the wood for the trees and to be clear about what's wrong and what needs to change. So in this book, we attempt to synthesise research evidence in a straightforward way. And we argue that it's actually clear what's gone wrong and why. And if we can learn from past mistakes, then we'll be in a better position to set some new and more promising directions for the future. So we take a very positive approach that change is possible, and there's no shortage of contemporary international examples that help point the way. But we need big policy changes, not policy tweaks. Taken for granted assumptions and well-established structures need to be challenged and a new consensus built for substantial change. And I'll just hand over to Ruth now to briefly outline how we go about doing that in the book.
So we identify 5 major mistakes in education policy. And to give you a flavour of these aren't specific policies, in which we look at evaluations. They're not small one-off things. These are major policy wrong turns, wrong directions that have become embedded in most cases over several decades. And for each of those, we first of all look at why politicians have gone down those routes so persistently. What were the claims made for those policies? And then we draw on a wide range of research evidence from different disciplinary traditions to assess to what extent those policies have made education better and particularly fairer or not. And while we look at a wide range of evidence, a particularly sort of unusual feature of the book is that we keep coming back to a set of ethnographic case studies of schools in some of the most challenging settings in both England and Australia. And these are our litmus test, if you like, of where the policies have worked for the children and young people and the communities who need them most. So that's what we do for each mistake, but we're not just interested in moaning about what's gone wrong. So the book finishes with propositions about how we can avoid those mistakes and move forward in a more positive way in the future. So we set out a list of what we think are realistic and doable policy changes, and also importantly, a new kind of policy making, which is less oppositional, less polarised and more connected to knowledge of educational research and practice. So it's a short book with lots packed in it, and we hope you'll both enjoy it and find it really useful. Thank you.